I asked Twitter what I should make videos about. Becky's prompt is a green heart. According to Google, the green heart is also known as the jealous heart. Now, I'm sure that Becky did not mean this when she offered me the green heart, but I'm going to talk about jealousy anyway. Most people think that jealousy is this... Actually, that's not even true. Like, the poly communities think that jealousy is this negative thing, and this is something that I've long disagreed with, because I think that jealousy, the emotion, much like anger, the emotion, isn't inherently itself a bad thing. It is a sign that something is going wrong in the relationship. One view of emotions is that they are these things that kind of happen to us, and if we have bad emotions, that's kind of bad, or it's sort of like acceptable because that's just the human condition, but it's sort of like there's a sort of a non-idealness to it. And then there's, you know, stoicism that will help us navigate the bad emotions by being like, basically don't worry about it, try to be a bit more rational. And I take a different view to emotions in general, which is that I think that emotions are information. And so if you're feeling sad, yes, there is a problem there, but the problem isn't with the sadness. The sadness is just responding to a perceived problem. And so working on the sadness directly is kind of like, you know, it depends how you work on it, but the actual thing is that there's a problem there. Now, rationalist types kind of go too far in the other direction, I think, because they say, oh yeah, it is, you know, due to some kind of problem, so let's ignore the emotion and just deal with the concrete problems. But the problem is that, with that, is that emotions can often indicate inexplicit problems, or problems that we're not consciously aware of. And so to not focus on the emotion on the other side means that you avoid finding out what the actual content is, or how you're actually feeling about something, or what that information actually is. So I kind of advocate an approach of solving the problem if you know what it is, but if you don't know what it is, which is usually the case for, commonly the case for emotions, looking at what they are saying in more detail. So this doesn't just mean like, oh, I'm so sad, and like, you know, just repeating like, oh, you know, it sucks that people are whatever. There's a kind of introspective process, because quite often there is some information hiding in the system which can be brought out using various introspection techniques, or talking with a friend about it, or journaling. And so what does all of this have to do with jealousy? Well, jealousy is one of those emotions that some people think isn't like a good emotion, like is not necessary. Like why not, instead of jealousy, we all have compersion? And compersion is this idea of being happy that your partner is happy even if it's with someone else. I think that there is a set of traditions around romantic relationships which are kind of inherently a two-person system, and I don't think that it's actually possible to have more than one in that system just because of the logic of how it works. I might do a different video on that. But jealousy is when that system is either being threatened, or like one of the people thinks that it's being threatened, or like there is a risk that it is going down in a bad path. It's kind of like if you find something slightly annoying, like, you know, you're going around life and you find then that little annoyance is just a sign, like, hey, it's a flag. It comes up and says, hey, make a change here. So if you can make those changes early, then it doesn't progress to be this bad type of emotion, which is actually actual suffering. So there's a type of jealousy that isn't actual suffering. It is just, I noticed that there is a problem here. And it only becomes suffering if it keeps building up and it doesn't get dealt with. I think this is also true of other emotions as well. So that is what I want to say on the green heart.